Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Last week I spoke about the Venerable Metta Dhammapala, who was known as Anagarika Dhammapala before he became a monk. Now I gave the details of his biography. He came from a very rich family, and he came in contact with Colonel Olcott of Theosophical movement, and took to this a special mission of restoration of the holy places, Buddhist holy places in India, which were all occupied by, by different types of people, fanatics, who have been misusing these holy places and turning them into devalayas and all that. And then Dhammapala, he worked for 40 years in India for this restoration, and somehow it didn't work. But at last he was successful. But when he was actually getting all the help from different countries in the world, it so happened that in 1915 there was some kind of a riot in Kandy. Now in Kandy, that was the capital of Ceylon those days, they have this annual Parahara ceremony, that is procession of the relics of the Buddha. This they have been doing for ages, hundreds and thousands, literally thousands of years. But now, it so happened, after the British took over from the Dutch, and they decided to turn Ceylon into a colony to make money for tea, cinnamon, and all kinds of agricultural, products. It's a tropical country, very rich. Therefore, they decided to take over. And they put these Moors, some Arabic tribes, living in Indian Oceans and so on. And they set against these Sinhalese Buddhists, who are the actual owners of the land. And there was a big riot, and they had put some, in a place called Gampaha, quite close to Kandy, they had put some barriers, because there had some masjid there, some kind of mosques which the Moors had put. And there was this riot, and so the British took, advantage of this. And Dhammapala, being a nationalist and very well-known leader, actually he can be compared with Gandhi. He is the Gandhi of Ceylon, actually. That is what his role was, exactly that. So now, the British wanted to deport him. So when he was really successful and he was getting everything done, and the government of India, the archaeological department, had taken over these temples, holy temples, and the Buddhist, which were all in ruins. They had put a very capable person, General Cunningham, and he restored the whole place, and it was all, things were getting very well organized. Now they wanted to deport him, purely on political grounds. So Dhammapala tried his best to stop that. But nothing worked. The Inspector General of Bengal, who was influenced by the Inspector General of Ceylon, and through the Viceroy of India. So he came and he said, well, you will be deported tomorrow, sir. Get ready. So Dhammapala, see, he was absolutely heartbroken and he didn't know what to do. This was in the morning. So he said, now I have Natti me saranang anyang buddho me saranang varam. Dhammo me saranang varam, sangho me saranang varam. Etena satchavajjena hotu me jaya mangalam. I have no other sarana, no other source of protection and no savior. Nobody else can save me at this juncture. My only refuge is the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And I will follow the teachings of the Buddha literally at this hour of my crisis. So he sat down. He had a photograph of this Inspector General. So he put this photograph right on his table, sat down on the chair from morning, did not take any food, nothing, he just went on practicing Metta Bhavana. Meditation on universal love. There is a very specific procedure of practicing Metta meditation. There are ever so many ways of doing, and this is one particular method, a technique of meditation on Metta, on universal love. So he took the photograph and put it nicely and then started focusing his mind on that picture. He pictured this gentleman and he had already seen him because he had visited him that very morning. So he focused his mind on him and said, may his mind change. Avero hotu, abhyapajyo hotu, anigho hotu, sukhiyatanang pariharantu. May his mind be liberated from every trace of vaira, hatred and prejudice and things like that. Anger, prejudice, you see, and any kind of, antipathetic feeling or impulse. May he be free from that. May he be free from all sense of ill will. And when a person harbors ill will and hatred and anger and prejudice and bias, that person is never at peace, never at ease, never happy. So he started focusing his attention with tremendous sincerity and belief in the supremacy of truth. That truth alone can triumph in the last analysis. Nothing else in the world can. And so he started meditating. His chelas tried to bring him food, etc. at the proper time. He just ignored the whole thing and he sent everybody out and he concentrated. He did this meditation till for the whole day, till night. He was hungry, so he ate. Then he said, nothing doing, I will continue. Whole night, let the word of the Buddha triumph. Let truth triumph. Buddha said, and he demonstrated himself when Devadatta tried his level best to have him killed, assassinate him in 100 different plots. Nothing worked. Devadatta could not succeed. And he at last bribed that jail superintendent of the city of Rajagaha, and he had a elephant there, Nalagiri, who was very, the king was very fond of Nalagiri indeed, because he was his pet. Nalagiri was a tremendous fighter and he had known all kinds of tricks to please the king. Now Nalagiri was given, at the instigation of Devadatta, a whole vat full of strong wine, strong liquor. And then he was fond of liquor anyway. So he drank this liquor off completely, the entire vat full of this liquor. Then he was supplied further until he was totally boozed and mad. Now when he became mad, he started trumpeting. Then Nalagiri, trumpeting, ran up and down. Then they opened the gate. And that was just the time when the Buddha was coming with a group of his senior monks, all enlightened. Venerable Sariputta, Moggallana, Venerable Mahakassapa, Ananda, all of them were there. So as the Buddha progressed on the main road, that is, the jail was just on the side of this road, and so Nalagiri trumpeting, he saw the Buddha and these monks, and fiercely he went, charging to destroy the Buddha and his disciples. Venerable Ananda saw this and he got so disturbed. He said, "Let my body perish. Let not the Tathagata be harmed." So he ran in front of the Buddha. Buddha saw this and he said, "No, Ananda, my dear, go." So Buddha faced this horrible beast, trumpeting and coming fiercely. So, and he projected powerful thoughts of Metta. He radiated with such force each step of that beast as it fiercely came running. He was being cooled down by the powerful radiation of thought of Metta. And by the time the beast approached the Buddha, he was completely freed from his madness and all that, and he became docile. He remembered his past tricks. He remembered the Buddha before he had seen the Buddha. He used to bow down before the Buddha. When Bimbisara used to say, "My dear Nalagiri, come on, bow down just like me." And he used to do that. And now he did that, he remembered and he did that. Bowed down. Now Dhammapala thought that. He had that picture in his mind and completely convinced of the power of truth. That truth alone can triumph under all circumstances, provided you have the power of truth along with you. And lo, after the whole night he had practiced this Metta Bhavana on him. In the morning, as he had told at 9 o'clock, "I am here with my force. Don't try to play any trick with me." Okay, he said, in a very arrogant way, like bullying him. But anyway, so when that man came at 9 o'clock, he had thoroughly changed. Whole night he couldn't sleep. His heart was bleeding. He says, "Here is a holy man. He has given his whole life for a great cause, to resuscitate the teaching of the Buddha that was once upon a time the whole of India was Buddhist. People followed the teaching of the Buddha with great earnestness and faith, believing in the triumph of truth. Once you have realized the Four Noble Truths, my dear, there is nothing that you cannot do. Nothing in the world can be in front of you and challenge you and hurt you. No. Once you have become a Sotapanna, nothing else, just Sotapanna, the first stage of enlightenment, you are far more powerful than any king or anybody in the world. So it happened. The Buddha tamed him. So this man was tamed by Buddha's teaching, the power of Dhamma. Because who is a Buddha? Buddha is Dhammakaya. It is not the physical body that is the Buddha. When the Buddha was alive, yes, his physical body mattered. That influenced people, because people can only understand, when they see the master in front of them and his very personality, he shined majestic all the time. So, his very presence was absolutely electrifying. People would be moved. But though now the Buddha is no more. So Dhammapala had the Dhamma representing the Buddha, because Buddha said in his last days, in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, he said, Dhammakayo yato sattha. The master, the supreme teacher of gods and men, is the very embodiment of Dhamma, Dhammakaya. He is the Dhamma. He has become one with the Dhamma, truth, the highest truth. And so he embodies the Dhamma, the truth. And the power of truth is unimaginable. So and you must have the faith in that, my dear, that truth alone triumphs. And the Buddha has showed it in 100 different occasions, not once. He showed it with Naragiri, the story that I told you now to illustrate the power of Metta. Metta stands for the truth that overcomes, love overcomes hatred is truth. And universal overcomes universally the truth, the hatred. No question about that. And Buddha proved it. And his disciples proved it day in, day out. You must have faith in the teaching, as the very Buddha is only the embodiment of his teaching. So if you follow the teaching, the power of the Buddha, the power of truth is with you. He is sitting right in your heart, when your heart is charged with truth. Never forget that. Buddhism is based on truth, not on false values or false theories of God and this, that and so. I'm going to quote today a sutta today. I will just start, because it's a fairly big sutta, next time we'll take up. So there, this man, IGP, is a general, police general, and a powerful man at that time. He was known for his cruelty to the Indian independence fighters. He put Gandhi in jail himself, Nehru in jail. Now this man, powerful man, whole night could not sleep because of the force of Metta that overcame, that completely suffused his heart. He felt very, guilty. He said, what am I doing? I am going to die one day anyway. And here is a saintly person. Now we have kept him, we have interned him for 5 years. He was in jail for nothing. He didn't do he didn't go and excite the people of Ceylon. He didn't tell them, come on, go and fight. He didn't tell them to go on jail, fill up the jail. You see, jail bharoni, he never said, though our people said that here. And they did bharo the jail. They filled the jail. But Dhammapala used the Buddha's way. And that is the way that truth triumphs. The truth behind Metta triumphs. The truth behind Metta is that Metta has a power of truth, which means that it can overcome hatred in any form. So that is what it did. Dhammapala had a whole day, 24 hours now, almost. Now Buddha himself in many suttas said, now for instance, you have got the Satipatthana Sutta, go and read that. We have the translation of it here. And you will see, he said, if you practice Satipatthana Sutta, Vipassana meditation, sincerely, for a whole year, every minute of you, moment to moment, you cultivate mindfulness. You are mindful of everything. Your heart will be charged with such power of mindfulness. Eventually you will develop the supernormal powers of samadhi. You will develop the vipassana jnana, the insight knowledge which penetrates into the reality of nibbana, here and now, the Four Noble Truths. And your heart is transformed. You have become a Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahat, the four stages of enlightenment. So Dhammapala, he used Metta power. And he showed that this man was, he said, sir, he went anyhow, 9 o'clock he reached there. He said, he was like a docile little puppy before him. He said, I am sorry sir, I spoke to you rather, in my police way, but I am trained that way. And I am sorry, now I understand that you are a holy man. You stand for truth, that Buddha, it is because of Buddha that India is known in my country, in England, that we know. Americans know India by the Buddha, not by anything else. So that Buddha is now forgotten. I am a Christian, sir. I believe in Catholicism, and but I do study Indian religions, and I have knowledge of Buddhism through the Theosophical movement myself. The Alcott and Blavatsky has, you see, influenced everybody. So there you are, and you are fighting for a good cause, and you have won your case. So I think we are wrong. I am not going to listen to my counterpart in Ceylon, and I am going to write to the governor that I don't want to deport him for nothing, and that something else should happen, and I will keep him under my surveillance, which I have got the power as an IG, Inspector General, I can do that. So he told him, look here, sir, you are an elderly person and you look very emaciated and all that now. I am very sorry for all this. And now I will release you from this, house arrest and all that. He was an intern. So you can be free. You can be in your headquarters, in your room, and have your meals as usual. And now you are getting a not proper punishment, you see, food and all that. So I will take charge of you. You will be under my care, and I will treat you as if my father and my elderly person, I treat them. I treat you like that, and no policeman anymore in your room. For 3 policemen day and night for 5 years, for nothing. So he withdraw the police fellows, these things that And the police fellows who came in contact with Dhammapala, they had such respect for him. They were embarrassed all the time. They didn't know what to do. And the same thing happened with my teacher. The Venerable Nana Tilaka, he was interned too during the Second World War and First World War also. And I am talking of Dhammapala in the First World War. So there you are. Have faith in the supremacy of truth. Have faith that truth alone triumphs over everything. So now, after some day, that governor of Ceylon, who was not the Inspector General anyway, he changed his mind. But his logic was different. He said, look here, this person is a holy man. People just worship him. Women fall on the road with their hair on the ground, saying that if his feet touches the hair, they will become purified. That's the kind of respect they have. So now, this man, if I put him here in, have him deported, and my friend sends him here, you say, I will be in trouble. And this Inspector General had, I think, influenced privately a lot of the British these hierarchies, categories of these colonizers. All of them. So he said, no, I don't want him here. I may get into trouble if I get him here. So he he contacted the Delhi, that is the Viceroy's people. He said, no, please keep him there under the care of the police in Calcutta and let him be there. We don't want him here. Again, this Moor and the Sinhalese Buddhist again will get into trouble again. So there you are. So that this is Dhammapala story by pure and simple power of truth as you see embedded in the practice of Metta. Metta is also truth. The truth that evil can be overcome by good, that hatred can be overcome by love. And Buddha showed it, demonstrated in many, many occasions. This Nalagiri story also I'll tell you. You know that. So there you are. Have faith, my dear, in the supremacy of truth. That truth alone triumphs. Now, we have to also understand this in terms of a deeper Dhamma. There is a sutta called Aganya Sutta in the Digha Nikaya. It deals with the origin of human species. Aganya, that is the beginnings of life, human life, and how the human society in this part of the country, that is India, how the Indian society evolved step by step, you see, from a very, after the world gets destroyed, as you know, just as from time to time, as the human life also comes to an end, there will be a time when there will be no Bangalore here, no Mysore, no India. It will be zero, just plain open space. That is what it will be. No Himalaya, no ocean, nothing, no world. Everything finished. This is not a myth, not a mythology that I am talking about. Scientific fact. They have found out that stars get destroyed. And once the star explodes and destroys, my goodness, that in the entire space there is a tremendous kind of upheaval and so on. So, I won't go into all that now. But this sutta goes into the beginnings of, or rather the origin of human life and the evolution of the human state, you see, from a very primitive state to the state of the present level of, you see, sophistication that we have. So this sutta gives how the Indian society has evolved. It's a perspective, mind you. It's a viewpoint that is not given by a researcher or a scientist or a man or a philosopher or somebody just by conceptual knowledge. No. It is by seeing through divine eye, which is a supernormal power, Dibba Chakku, by which you can envision, you can go backwards or forwards. Backwards means you go to the past. Hundreds of thousands of kalpa you can go, not age, not year, but kalpa. You can go back how the world was in a certain period. For instance, there are periods where human beings live for 100,000 you see, years. That is 1 lakh year is your lifetime. My goodness, to think that you are going to live for 500 years now is a fearful thing. By the time you are 90, your body doesn't listen to you. You can't eat anything, you can't hear, your ear, you see, you lose hearing, your teeth all get decayed and all terrible things. You can't see. So when you are 500 now, my goodness, you will be like a vegetable, just sitting. So people can't think even of 500 years now. But it is a fact that there were human beings who lived for 1 lakh years. It's a fact. It's not a fiction, not a mythology. So, what kind of mind can perceive this, can see through this? If you develop samadhi, the 4th jhana, you can develop the state of divine eye, Dibba Chakku, and you can see through. Because your consciousness is that which you see at the level of a Brahma God, at the Rupavachara, beyond the scope of, beyond the Kamavachara sphere, even much higher than any of these Kamavachara gods, Devas. The Brahmas have immensely long life. They live for kalpa, not years. So, in that state you can see through. And so, it is with the Sarvajya Chakshu, the all-knowing mind, the omniscient mind of the Buddha, which is the highest state of spiritual perfection, the summit stage of enlightenment. It is with that he has seen through and he has related how life in India has evolved. So in this Aganya Sutta, we find that. And I have translated this sutta, but I am afraid we don't have much time. I will take it up next time. But the subject itself has been presented to you, that Metta as a power, as a truth, triumphs. And Dhammapala proved it, just as his master, Bhagavan Buddha, proved it by taming Nalagiri. So, you see, if you cultivate the truth underlying any Dhamma, any state, let us say, Panatipata Veramani, I voluntarily undertake not to kill, not to steal, not to commit sexual misconduct, not to tell lies, not to drink alcoholic drinks, etc. Just 5 sila. Now this Pancha Sila, if you follow absolutely, very sincerely, and not to show off to people that you are a virtuous man and all that, nothing doing, not that. straightforward faith in the power of sila, moral action, wholesome action, based on wholesome psychology. Once you do that, my goodness, that Panchashila can transform your life. And what you say can happen. It's a fact everybody believes. During my career as a sadhu, you see, 60 years ago, I used to roam about everywhere in the Himalayas. I came across yogis who said, हम जो बोलेगा हो जाता है, 12 साल सत्य को रखा है. I have maintained truthfulness for 12 years. And what I say will happen. If you want to see, I will show you. And that's exactly what they say, it happens also. That is the story of all these rishis, some Durvasa and all that. The Durvasa fellow was such a horrible mouth fellow. If a word comes out of his mouth, it happens. Everybody was frightened of the kings, were frightened, everybody frightened. But that kind of power is very dangerous and Buddhism rejects that. So if you are going to be, if you have a Vak Shakti, power for on your word, have it for good word, like may you be happy and the person be happy. That kind of power is meaningful. Not you say, hey jungle, come on, become fire. It's burnt completely, whole jungle. No, that kind of power is no good. That Durvasa power is absolutely useless. So the Buddha power, yes, whatever he said happened. Every morning the Buddha sat, you see 2 hours in Maha Karuna Samapatti, and he will come out of it, and in his mental screen, like a computer, he will see some beings coming out. You see, he will see beings coming up. And that very morning, Nalagiri was there. He saw that he was going to attack. He said, okay, I will go. Very good. So he took all his senior disciples to come and have a look. That is how Nalagiri was tamed. And then, that fierce king Ajata Sattu who had his father killed, he changed, completely changed. His administration changed. And this man, Devadatta, he too changed. He was so sick and he couldn't move anymore. He had to be carried in a stretcher, but he couldn't see the Buddha. So once you do an evil thing, you break the Sangha, but you are finished. You can never have, many things are gone from you. We human beings are endowed with tremendous privileges of all kinds. We simply don't recognize our good fortune. We only talk about our bad luck and all that, all the negative things. Think of the good things you have got. Think of the life of in a Jew. This is the life of an animal. What a life they have. Think of the animal life or the other kinds of life you have come across. You see, and compare your life and think of people in the slum. Little children have nobody. Parents are in the morning gone. No food, just in the road, learning how to steal and all that sort of thing. Think of that. And the privilege that you have had, good education you have had. Your parents have been so benign, benevolent for you. Think of all good things. And the truth in those good things will come in you. With this I conclude. Today, Aganya Sutta will be, this Sutta I will take up next Sunday. May the grace of Bhagavan Buddha surround your lives with wisdom and ample metta. May you all be happy. Sukhino Bhavantu.